While DNA evidence can't bring back the lives of the victims of heinous crimes, it can save the lives of those wrongly convicted of perpetrating them.
Hello, chums. I'm Them. This is Them's Facts.
Here are 3 times DNA evidence was instrumental in the release of those wrongly accused and convicted of gruesome crimes. Number 3. In 1984, a 9-year-old girl was abducted, sexually assaulted, and murdered in Maryland. The crime shocked the community, and pressure to find the person responsible was immediate. The search began with a description broad enough to fit an enormous number of people: male, average height, brown hair, mustache. Kirk Bloodsworth matched it. At the time, 1984, that was not unusual. Mustaches were common. Being of average height was an average thing. His appearance did not stand out in any particular way, which, in this case, is exactly what placed him inside the suspect pool. Witnesses later testified that he resembled the man they believed they had seen near the area. There was no forensic evidence tying him to the crime. DNA testing was not yet available. Still, the case moved forward. A jury convicted him and imposed a death sentence. Years later, when biological evidence was finally tested, the result excluded him completely and identified another perpetrator. Bloodsworth had spent 2 years awaiting execution. Nothing about his appearance was distinctive. That was part of the problem. The description that helped convict him could have applied to countless men walking down the street that day. Number 2. In 1992, an 11-year-old girl named Holly Staker was assaulted and killed in Waukegan, Illinois. The case shook the community. There was intense pressure to make an arrest. Police focused on Juan Rivera, a 19-year-old local man with a history of mental health challenges. He was brought in for questioning and interrogated for many hours. Eventually, Rivera gave a videotaped confession. That confession became the centerpiece of the prosecution's case. But there were problems. Some of the details Rivera described did not align with the physical evidence. He provided information that investigators had to correct during questioning. At times, officers suggested or supplied details before Rivera repeated them back. Even so, the confession existed, recorded, and signed. In 1993, Rivera was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Years later, DNA testing was performed on semen recovered from the victim's clothing. The results excluded Rivera. The genetic profile did not match him. His conviction was overturned. He was tried again. The same DNA exclusion remained. He was convicted again. That conviction was also overturned. In 2009, Rivera went to trial a 3rd time, despite the fact that the DNA profile still did not match him and had never matched him. He was convicted a 3rd time. In 2011, the Illinois Appellate Court reversed the conviction, ruling that no rational jury could have found him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt given the DNA evidence. After nearly 20 years in prison, Rivera was released. The confession had been powerful enough to sustain 3 separate convictions. The DNA results remained the same throughout every trial. What shifted was how much weight the courts were willing to give them. Number 1. In 1982, a woman was sexually assaulted and murdered in Newport News, Virginia. Investigators eventually focused on Keith Allen Harward, a U.S. Navy sailor stationed nearby. There was no DNA testing available at the time. The case instead turned on a specific form of forensic testimony, bite mark analysis. A forensic odontologist examined marks on the victim's body and concluded they were human bite marks. He then compared those marks to Harward's dental impressions. At trial, jurors were shown photographs and transparent overlays. The expert testified that Harward's teeth were consistent with the pattern of the bites and that he could not exclude him as the source. Another dental expert offered similar conclusions. The presentation carried the language and appearance of science. Harward was convicted in 1983 and sentenced to life in prison. For years, bite mark testimony was widely admitted in American courtrooms. It was treated as a specialized but accepted forensic discipline. More than 3 decades later, advances in DNA testing allowed biological evidence from the crime scene to be re-examined. In 2016, that testing identified another man, Jerry Croft, a convicted serial offender whose DNA matched the evidence. Harward's DNA did not. His conviction was vacated and he was released after serving 33 years. In the years since, scientific bodies, including the National Academy of Sciences, have raised serious concerns about the reliability of bite mark comparison, noting the lack of solid scientific validation behind it. For decades, Harward's teeth had been presented to a jury as incriminating evidence. The DNA told a different story.
That was Them's Facts. You now know more than you did before. See you in the next one. Flatten the like button, whisper to subscribe, tickle the notification bell, agitate the algorithm. I'll be waiting.